Hi, Jen. How are you? Thank you very much for joining us for Smart Match TV podcast. Please introduce yourself for our audience and we get started.
Hi, Tim. Nice to talk to you. My name's Janet. I'm a personal matchmaker for a business I set up called Singles Socials.
Thank you for the intro. And my name is Tim. I'm the CEO of SmartMatchApp, the number one matchmaking software. Let's get started. I got tons of questions for you. I'm super curious to learn about you and share this with all of our audiences. Let's start with your story, personal and business story. How you got into this business, what motivated you to even get into this very special industry as we all know it.
Okay, well, my background is events organising, events planning. I've been doing that for many, many years. But suddenly, in 5 years ago, I found myself at the age of 55 single, quite unexpectedly. And I was looking to get out and meet new people and make some good contacts. Unfortunately, all of my friends were in relationships. So I basically sought out opportunities to get out and meet people. I found a business a few hours drive from me that was offering events for single people. I duly went along. It was a black tie ball. I had a fabulous time. Really, really enjoyed myself. Met a great group of girls, but they lived millions of miles away. It was a good 2 hour run, and it involved an overnight stay. So I wasn't able to go out with these girls on a regular basis. Over a glass of wine or two with two of my closest friends, they said to me, "How did the black tie ball go?" And I said, "Oh, it was fabulous. I had a really good time. But do I really need to move to get a better social life?" And they said to me, "Why don't you just set up what's running in that area in this area?" So Norfolk, Sleepy Old Norfolk. So I did. I set up events for single people. We started with bowling. That was the first event I run. So just got literally enough people to book 2 lanes, so a dozen people. And the business kind of went from strength to strength. More people joined. I run lots of different events, everything from my own black tie ball, which we did last year at Valentine's, to I private hire a paddle boat steamer on the Norfolk routes, and I literally fill it with single people. And during the course of the early days of the business, people started saying to me, "Well, this is great, and I'm getting out and meeting loads of new people, but can you find me that somebody special?" And I said, "Sure, you might suit so and so," because obviously I've got quite a big network at this point. So I started to matchmake. Roll forward. I'm now matchmaking. I did a accreditation with the Matchmakers Academy. That's how I found out about you guys. And I started matchmaking, and I've got a couple that have been dating now for they started dating in September 22, I think it was. September 23. So a good 18 months. They're still going very strong, and I have lots of other couples out dating as well. So and I love it. I absolutely love what I do. I'm very lucky.
Wow. 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 It's just so much positivity all over the place. Loving something you do. I definitely think that is the good start for and a good recipe for any business. Just looking back at my own business or talking to all the other friends who own businesses. I mean, owning a business is hard enough, and if you want to go through all of the challenges of starting the business and then scaling or growing the business and dealing with everything from, I don't know, accounting to customer support, etc., you better love what you do.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, it does have its challenges. And people have said to me, I must have more patience than the local hospital because obviously you're dealing with people and their emotions. But I do love it when I get it right and I get a successful match and I get the feedback. It's wonderful.
And we're going to talk about some stories, I hope, today you want to
Okay,
share.
I can't share too much. I can't share names
No, no, no names, no names.
for
Just stories like the conceptual
yeah,
stuff, like maybe
yeah.
like a type of a challenge but just to go back to your previous conversation, what's interesting for me and hopefully for our audience where you come from. I speak to matchmakers on a regular basis. In the podcast, but also off podcast, like in the day-to-day, business discussions and stuff.
Hmm.
And I find that they come from so many different backgrounds, from psychology, from therapy, from education background, from, I mean, financial, from law, and all kinds of and events as well. I've spoken to a few. So your background is super interesting. So you come from events industry, and that's where you started. You created an event, you created a community basically,
Yes.
right? I heard
Yes.
that you said that you have a
Yeah.
community. You first created a community, a following, a focal point, and then naturally you got into the matchmaking as people started to ask you. What a wonderful way to get into this business, to be honest. To get people out of their houses, away from their Netflix, or I don't know what you guys are
No,
all.
Netflix is, yeah.
Not Netflix is the number one place. I guess. I mean, one of the places. Who goes to theaters nowadays? I don't know. Like you just home in front of a big TV, right? Type of thing.
Hmm. Absolutely.
So you come into this world from that perspective of organizing community. This is very interesting. Maybe something we can share in the next point about sharing success and how you help your clients. Just to highlight that it's amazing. um, Tell us a little bit about your challenges or the problems that you're solving for your clients, the typical problems that you solve, the services you provide
Okay.
for your clients.
Well, the main challenge that my clients find, as did I when I was single, um, is how to meet new people and how to connect with people and how to find somebody to date. To be really honest, in the old days, you met somebody at a bar or you met them via a friend and you dated. Nowadays, it's been replaced by online. Everything happens online nowadays, not in the real world, and dating apps are challenging. They continue to be challenging, and they are becoming more challenging from what I hear from my clients. The scammers are one thing that's on dating apps. People that are not honest, people that, yeah, just there is a shift. People are too scared to be on dating apps. Nobody's checked their profiles. Nobody's checked to see who they are. Whereas personal matchmaking, I know who that person is. I've met them. I've video called with them. I've checked their ID to make sure they are who they say they are. So my clients know that that's a real person. They're actually meeting the person that I'm telling them they're meeting, rather than it could be somebody's brother, mum, dad. I've heard all sorts, to be really honest, from what goes on. So it's about bringing people together in the real world. So the event side, that was the main pull there, to get people meeting in the real world, off of their phones, away from Netflix on a Friday night, and just meeting in the real world. And I've had people. There was a lady that came into my bowling, and the first thing she said to me was, "Please, can you give me a hug, because I'm terrified, and it's took all my courage to walk into this room and I just don't know what to do." And I just give her a big hug. Now, fast forward 2 years, this lady's super confident. And when I've got new people coming in, she's one of the people I turn to and say, "Oh, meet." And I introduce her because she's helped me build this community and was one of the very first people. And to see her go from so nervous to super confident is absolutely great.
And what made her get more confident? Let's talk about that. This is super interesting. There is a success story right there. My next
Hmm.
question was going to be,
Hmm.
what is a success story?
Yeah.
So we go from problem to success right away. So, what made her feel so confident?
I think when you do things that are difficult, I certainly found, obviously, when I empathise with these people, because when I split with my ex-husband, I suddenly found I lacked a little bit of confidence. I've always been a super confident person, but somewhere it got lost. And I think this is the same for a lot of people when they come out of divorce, or they're widowed for whatever reason. They're suddenly single again. They lose that confidence. So it's more a case of rebuilding that confidence than giving them that confidence. It's helping them find themselves by just getting out and connecting with other people in the real world. And when you do something that's difficult or challenging and you actually achieve it, it gives that feeling of empowerment. I set about to build my confidence, and I advise others to do the same, is to do things that are difficult. Do something challenging, do something difficult. Because when you do things that are difficult, it just makes you feel so good and proud of yourself. And that's the key. And this lady came to event after event and met new people and talked to new people. And the more she talked to new people, the more confident she got. And she suddenly realised that she wasn't scared anymore. And then she started to help others. And I think it's when you help others do something that you really, really grow yourself. So I think the key is by joining and then helping others. And that's how you find confidence in yourself, I believe.
Overcoming your challenges, your fears, and then helping others. So there's
Yes,
two
yes,
key components right
yes.
there, and both of those, by the way, psychologically and um, how can I say that, scientifically even, it's
Hmm.
proven that
Yes,
they create
100%.
happiness. They
Yeah,
actually create happiness in the
yeah,
way that if
100%.
you get something too easy, you don't get that kind of happy aha moment.
Hmm.
Whereas if you had to overcome, let's
They
say,
do say, don't they? Hard
right,
things, easy life, hard things. So yeah, do the
right.
hard things, get an easy life.
Same thing with the helping others. It's just the shortcut, direct shortcut to happiness. It's true. It's so true. Thank you for sharing this. And so, did this person? We're not gonna name any names. Did she find her match in your?
She hasn't as yet. She hasn't as yet. She's still part of the group. She has a very wide circle of friends now within the group. They go out regularly themselves, as well as obviously still participate in what I do. But she's now got the confidence today. And she said when the right person comes along, she's ready for them, whereas before she wasn't. So she hasn't met anybody yet, but she feels confident and she's happy in her own skin. And that's really important.
I think it's 99% job done.
Hmm. Yeah.
The
When the
rest,
right person appears, she's ready. And
she's ready.
that's
She is
key.
there's a word, if I may say, matchable. She is matchable now,
Definitely.
because she's ready for that. And
Hmm.
when the right person comes in, she will know if it's a good match for her, for what
Hmm.
she needs. She knows herself now, and she's back in a game. Now, how many people in your community actually go through similar experiences, in terms of like, getting back on their feet first? How important is it to go through that experience first before you start actually matching them, per se, introducing them,
Quite a lot.
doing the numbers game?
Quite a lot. I would say most people go through some kind of rebuilding of their self esteem and their confidence, whether it's inside my group or outside of my group, before they're ready to date and to match. And I often speak to people that are looking to be a matchmaking client. And quite often I'll say to them, do you know what? I don't think you're quite ready yet. Join the group, come along, meet some people, get out a little bit more, get some confidence, then you're ready. Until you're happy with yourself, I don't think you can get into a relationship and be happy with somebody else. You need to unpack your own baggage first and be happy in your own skin, before somebody else comes into the relationship. Being
So it
ready
looks
is
like,
key.
looks like you have a it's like coaching. I
Hmm.
think you're doing
Yep.
coaching,
I do quite a bit of coaching as well.
but looks like you do it in a way where you, make them part of the community as part of coaching,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
That's a unique know-how. So you don't
Yes.
just tell them, look, you know you need 10 hours of coaching, I don't know,
No.
1,000 pounds or whatever, like, you
Yeah.
go to community and you will heal. And then in addition to that, you
Hmm.
might do some one-on-one. Do
Yeah.
you do
Yeah.
one-on-one or?
I'm starting to do one on one coaching, and I've also got a course that I'm currently putting together that people can do and take at their own time frame. And that's just come from repeat requests from people to how can I build more confidence? How can I, get out and meet more people? What do I need to do? And yeah, so keep giving those tips and ideas. I've got a YouTube channel myself. So I'm constantly doing videos on there, so people can build their confidence, and just yeah, just generally really getting out there. Sorry, my dog's barking in the
Oh
background.
yeah, no, he's now
Working from home, the joys of working from
he's
home.
now on a record. He is officially part of the podcast. Let me ask you still, I'm gonna insist on this match story. Like, it's a wonderful story about healing, and this
Hmm.
is definitely, in my opinion, this is the most important thing in this process. Like, it's just no reason to go out there. When I got divorced, okay, I'm in the club too, I went through that too. I I after 15 or 18 years of marriage, I went to the psychologist, and she said, "Don't even dare. I'll kill you. Don't dare to go date now. Don't date. Do not ruin people's lives, okay? Because you're miserable right now. Don't do that." And so
Hmm.
that's how I
Good
connect.
advice.
Right, right.
Yeah.
But after that, then you go when you healed yourself, when you
Hmm.
actually can radiate an energy, and to attract the right person. So I went through this, but still, and then I found my match. Okay, so can you share a match story?
Okay, I can talk about a couple that they actually met at one of my events back in the early days, and it was actually his first event. He had never been before. She had been, it was her second event. And at her first event, she actually stood outside and was almost too terrified to come in. I think she was on the point of bailing and not coming in when somebody else come along and sort of said to her, "Oh, are you meeting Jan and the group?" And she kind of got brought in with those. So she was very, very nervous. She'd come from a not a great marriage. She just not long left, to be really honest. So it was probably a bit early for her, but she got lucky. She came in. She met the group. She really enjoyed the event we were doing, and we got chatting. And I saw her at a couple of events. Then she came the dinner. So there was a couple of events in between, different sort of events. Then she came to the dinner, and this guy had come along. It was his first event, and because of the age range, I just thought, oh, do you know, I've got a feeling these two just might. I sat them opposite. So it was a table of 20, so it was 20 of us, 10 ladies one side, 10 guys the other, and he just sit them roughly in age range, and they just hit it off. They just hit it off, and they came together as a couple to about another half a dozen events. They came to my black tie ball
As a
as a
couple.
couple because they're our inspiration, and obviously everybody in the group knows who they are, and knows them quite well. And 18 months later, at least 18 months, they are still going strong. I think wedding bells have been talked about, but apparently she says it's too early. But you
Hey,
never know.
you
But
never
yeah,
know.
it feels great. And he was quite a confident chap anyway. He was quite confident, and I think they took it really slow. And just sort of started to see each other, come along to a few more events, got to know each other really well, and
Wonderful.
love blossomed.
Love blossomed, and it blossomed
They are
fast.
actually on my website. There is actually a picture of this couple on my website. So
Right.
they've
Yeah.
actually
So
given
it's
permission to be on my website. So yeah, they're on my
amazing,
website.
amazing. So guys out there, it's possible. Okay, go
It
for it.
is.
Don't overcome your fears. Just do it. Join the community. That's the word of the
Yeah,
day.
that's the way.
I would like to ask you a little bit about now the technology part, the part that we help our clients with, and they come to us like you came to us to look for the database solution. They are looking. They usually are people like yourself, events. You just that's your forte. Not necessarily building software or figuring out all the back end and front end and whatever. So they like that they have a ready to go solution. They can sign up, get some training, and then literally go for it. They got the website, forms, they got the whole solution, backend CRM, database, reminders, tasks, whatever, searching, matching, features. So we solve those problems. Let me ask you, before SmartMatchApp, before you got referred to us by Caroline, we had a great interview with her. You can find it on our channel, by the way. She's a wonderful. Um,
Cheers.
Before that, what were you trying to do with the technology? What were you using? Excel sheets or nothing, or papers, or what was your technology of choice?
So my process was I had a form that I'd built on my website. So people would fill out the form. I would print said form. I would then interview them and take notes on the form.
On a
I'd,
paper?
on paper. So I
No,
literally
no,
I
no, no. That's it.
Oh yes. Oh yes. So I'd had it on paper. I'd write all the notes. It was all on paper. Then I would create a profile on Canva. I'd then email them, and they said, "Can you change this? Can you add that?" And it would go backwards and forwards. Then I'd put all their details onto an Excel spreadsheet, and that was my database. So when it came to matching, I would literally have to open each client's profile. I'll get my file out with my piece of paper, which is why I did it on paper, to be really honest. So I could have my file on my look at my Excel spreadsheet, and yeah, very long winded. And you
It,
think
it,
when you
it,
start that you're going to remember everybody and you're going to remember all the details and you're going to know everybody, but you don't. Because once you start to grow, I can't remember people's ages, where they live, what their hobbies are, what their values are. I can't remember that. It's just too much. And it's not smart to fill your brain with stuff you don't need to know either. Not when you've got a great piece of software that will do the job for you.
Right, right. And we
So
live in the age of technology, right? So
absolutely. Smart Match has completely streamlined and replaced all of that. I have nothing printed on paper, which is great, especially from a GDR point of view. I have no Excel spreadsheets anymore. Nothing is actually on my laptop or my home office. It's all held on SmartMatchApp, which means security wise, now they put their own details onto the Smart Match. I then interview them while I'm on Smart Match. So I do this interview via a Zoom or via a WhatsApp. So I'm video talking to them while I'm actually going through their profile and ask them questions. Oh, you missed this one out. And I talk about it. Is this important to you? Is it not so important to you? And we together build their profile directly onto the system. So it's
do
there.
you also give them access to their profile? Because do you
Yes.
use member
Yes.
portal?
Yes, I use member portal. So they literally, the online form they fill out now to start is straight onto Smart Match. So straight away they're building their profile. And some will just put the bare minimum. Some will actually go to town and put me loads of information on there, which is a great start. So all that information is straight into Smart Match app. It's going nowhere else. It's straight onto the app. Then I add to it when I'm talking to them on the phone, setting their parameters, and whatever else it is they want to add to it or take away. They put their own photographs on there. Then I can send them a link so they can see what their profile looks like, what's going to be sent out, and then
Wow.
all. Sorry,
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
So
wow.
what's what? And then obviously when it comes to sending out a profile to somebody else, it's sent securely via your email system, which means I don't send anyone's personal data via an email. All they get is a link. They have to be a member to follow that link to log in and see the person's match. That keeps it really nice and secure. So I really love the security aspect of Smart Match app.
we worked a lot on the security point. We went through SOC Type 2, which is a technical term for
Mm-hmm.
basically all kinds of bureaucracy to be
Mm-hmm.
sure that the data is completely backed up, saved, that only the authorized people have access to support the data, the backend. If you want, we can do. I don't think you will want it. I don't think anybody wants to talk about this for a whole
No,
podcast. Okay, we say just okay,
it's
it's boring
secure.
stuff, but it is boring stuff, but it is a fundamental stuff. Okay,
Yeah,
then making
absolutely.
them age. So you obviously streamlined your onboarding part,
Massively.
which was time consuming for you.
Hmm.
Let's talk about the matching part. Do
Okay.
you like the
I
matchmaking
love it.
feature?
I love it. It's great. It enables me to have when I click the match in, I've got a list of potential clients. Now, some straight away I'll know, oh no, they're no good. So the personal touch is still needed, but it just guides me in that right direction. So I can click on the match, see the differences, and know which ones are deal breakers and which
In
ones
one
are
screen,
not.
you can see two people on the same screen to see the
Yep.
differences or
Yep,
the
I see
or,
two
or the
people. I see their
similarities.
list. I can see where they're highlighted, where's red, where's green, what's good, what percentage it is. As I said, I still need to know the personal details. For instance, I had a case of a client, an elderly client, that wanted a lady in the horse industry. Well, I don't know if you can see my background, but there's pictures of horses everywhere. I'm a horse rider. I've been in equestrian since I was 6. So I have a huge contact circle list of ladies that horse ride. He was a hunting gentleman, so he hunted and he wanted a rider. I duly found him several riders that hit his criteria. But when Smart Match suggested one, I knew straight away the match wouldn't work, but she was a vegan. That's something obviously only a human will know, that a hunt person and a vegan are not likely to get on. So you do still need the personal touch, but it is so fabulous because I just literally moved her to not suitable. So she's then tucked away, not suitable. That left me with my suitable list
You
of people.
on his profile, you can actually make that preference, the food, I guess, the food
Mm,
preference as a deal breaker, and
yeah,
then everyone who is
yeah,
vegan or
yeah.
or
Oh, that's
whatever,
interesting to know.
that can they can the system
It's
will
not something you come across very often.
yeah, well, maybe it's not a pain point.
No, it's not.
Yeah, we can go deeper, and Nikolai can help you anytime if you want to jump over this. So, what is your favorite feature that you think that you want to highlight and recommend to colleagues who are watching this? Because a lot of your colleagues from all over the world are watching it, and yeah, they might reach out to you for exchanging some matches. You never know. That's a huge tendency actually. Matchmakers who meet and use this our app actually get together to, we have a directory, so they start exchanging matches.
Yeah, I'm
So
on that directory.
what is you, are you part of Matchmakers Alliance yet?
I am.
Okay, cool. So then you have a great network. There is a professional network. New conference coming soon as well. So what is your favorite feature that you absolutely cannot live without, or like that if you look back that made change your game in terms of how you do your day to day?
Obviously, it's the matches that it suggests for me, which is great, and the schedule as well. So I can put in the schedule. For instance, I have people come on a taster membership, which is literally for 6 months, and I guarantee X amount of matches in that period. So I can key that into the schedule, and it keeps me on track for knowing when that person is due the next match. I
It
like to
gives you,
try
it's
always.
overdue, it's due to date, and overdue
Yes,
2 days. So
yes. So I
yeah.
find that
So
really useful. But the absolute thing I really love is when I can just send a mutual introduction to both of them at the click of a button, a few words in an email, and it's gone off. And then I can see by looking on the, obviously on my side, whether they've received it, whether they've clicked it, and whether they've opened it. So I know that that person has received that match, they've clicked on it, they've opened it, they've read it. So there's no guessing. I wonder if they've got my email. I wonder if they haven't. I wonder if it's gone into spam. No, I know they've got it. I know they've read it, and I know they've clicked on it. So that's really useful for a matchmaker to
thank you
know.
for sharing this. Someone's gonna listen to this, say, like, you know what, it's time for me to let the Excel sheets go, or
Oh, it's been a
whatever.
game changer. It really has. It really
Thank
has.
you. Thank you for sharing that. This is some wonderful, and this is what helps us to pass the information because, again, matchmakers tend to be not technology people. But they do want to find that relationship, that match for them, so that they can trust their technology, their database,
Mhm.
and that's
Mhm.
where we come in.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of more questions. Future of matchmaking industry and your vision of your role in the future of matchmaking industry. For example, what do you think is going to change in the next year? What's going to remain the same? What are the challenges? What are the opportunities?
From what I hear from the feedback that people that I sort of know and that I obviously have day to day dealings with, um, the move away and the decline from dating apps. They were big during COVID because obviously everybody was sort of stuck at home. But I think there is a gradual shift now to going back into the real world. I know one of the big dating apps, Thursday, that closed and is going to focus more on events. So I think there's going to be a trend to move away from dating apps, which is obviously for the greater good of matchmakers like myself. Um, so yeah, I just see that happening. I see personal matchmakers going from being the old-fashioned way, they were seen as old-fashioned, to more modern and using
Technology
modern
overload,
technology.
right?
Hmm.
Technology overload. When there's too much technology and AI and et cetera, there is gonna be the extreme, always
Hmm.
like the extreme,
Yeah.
like more personal. And
Yes.
there is
Yes.
opportunity there, obviously, because that is a luxury service. It becomes
Yes.
more of a personalized service. So there is an opportunity there to have decent fees to maintain your business goals, right? I mean,
Hmm.
that's so you think that that's the, and why is the dating apps, so you said about the all kinds of indecent scamming activities and
Sadly.
people, sadly, right? But also, do you think the time, the I remember, I mean, this was a
Mm.
while ago, right? I mean, over 10 years ago now. I remember the endless swiping, the endless uh, my
Yeah.
God.
You have got
Yeah,
to
the
put in some serious time on a dating app. I did my time on dating apps, so yes, I've been on dating apps myself.
endless
Um,
chatting and just
yeah. Yeah. And then there's things like ghosting where you're chatting to somebody, it's all going really, really well, and then all of a sudden they've gone, completely disappeared. And it's like, what on earth? And in the early days, you start to wonder, is it me? Until you realize actually, no, it's not me. It's them. Sometimes people just do that. My
so I
daughter
guess
actually
that's a
recommended a
problem
good
you're
book.
solving. That's a
Sorry?
problem you're solving. That is one problem you're solving. So I guess
Hmm.
your clients do appreciate the fact that
I have a
you.
code of conduct. Yeah, there's a code of conduct for my clients where they must just be straight and polite. So if they don't want to see somebody again, they just say, don't want to take this any further, but thanks for your time, and that's it. They don't have to give a reason, and the person on the receiving end has been asked not to ask for a reason, because at the end of the day, when you're just dating in the early days, you don't owe anybody anything, other
Yeah.
than I'm sorry, you're not for me, I don't want to take it any further, and then you kind of move on, rather than just disappearing and blocking somebody, which is what sadly happens on dating apps.
So they also get structure by entering your community. Structure, in addition to
Hmm.
coaching, structure is
Yeah,
important, you know.
good old fashioned behaviour.
Good. That is so cool. That is so cool. Yeah, and that happens to be proven effective way to meet people and to make relationships. How's that? You know, I
Yeah.
love it. Love it. Um, how can our viewers find you, connect with you? You know, for business or personal reasons, whatever they decide. You know.
Okay. You can find me everywhere. I'm actually on LinkedIn. My name is Jan J Wilson. You'll find me on LinkedIn. You'll find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. God help me. I also have a YouTube channel called the same, Jan J Wilson, and my website, of course, which is singlesocials.co.uk, where I also do a weekly blog, answering all sorts of dating questions, confidence building, just free advice and tips that I give out to anybody looking to date again, after divorce. So I call it dating after divorce, because, yeah, life goes on.
Okay, single folks out there, if you hear this free advice from Janet, I would jump on it. I would jump on it today, get a free advice, and then maybe decide what's next. Join the community, maybe overcome the fears, and just get your life together, and then help somebody else do the same. I love it.
I also have a free downloadable dating app guide for people that are going to go online dating and they've got no idea how it all works and how to start. I actually put together a 16-page downloadable, completely free dating guide, so that they can just literally click on it, get it downloaded, and if they want to go and give dating apps a go, at least they've got some good upfront advice before they start.
Amazing. And do you work with clients all over the world or with matchmakers?
No, I only work with clients in the Norfolk, Suffolk, UK area.
So very specific, very personalized. You
Yeah.
want to see them? Do you want to see them all in person? That's part of the.
Yes, I like to see them in person. Sometimes it's not possible because they live the other side of the county and their work schedule. And sometimes using something like Zoom or WhatsApp video does the job. Most of my clients I've actually met via the single socials events. Quite
Got
often
it.
they come to events, I meet them at events, then they become a matchmaker client. So most of them, I mean, I've got a gentleman that I got out dating the weekend. He's had his first date the weekend. It's all gone really well, which is fingers crossed time. And I actually have known him for over a year. He's been coming to my events, walking, bowling, dinners. So I've had lots of conversations with him. I know him fairly well, which is nice. When I speak to a lady, I go, "Oh, I've met this person at many events. I've seen him interact with others. He's quite sociable. He likes to walk, you know." So yeah, it gives me a good background on people.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
I look forward to spreading this wonderful podcast all over the media, everywhere we can. Thank you so much for your generous time.
You're more than
I
welcome.
genuinely hope people will connect with you, whether they're singles or matchmakers who are helping other people in your area, possibly, or just exchange, like networking for networking purposes, exchange ideas in the industry. So again, Janet, it was wonderful to meet you, to talk about your work, about your business, and I wish you so much luck because what you do is important. It changes the world. It makes people happy. So, and happy people do great in life, do great job. They have better families and stuff. So it just goes around. Thank you so much for it.
You're more than welcome. Thank you.